Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admas. Now, in this episode, we're going to look at the milestone reached by the mother of all podcasts in Africa, Podcast&Chill with MacG. They have last week successfully reached 1 million subscribers, which is something they wanted to achieve earlier this year, but upon analytics, I believe they saw it fit to give it some time, and then they pushed it to July, of which they achieved. And it's very good to see a black child dream being fulfilled like that. I mean, in our eyes or before us. MacG is a podcaster who has 5 years in this game. In the very same month of July in 2018, he put this idea into practice or into life. He started a podcast with Len, who is now back in the podcast network. We see him in an episode that deals with sports, and is doing very well. So he has good analytics, and I think that episode or segment is going far. Now, MacG took to the podcast in one of his recent episodes to look back to where they are coming from, the number of people who have come and go, the number of people who have assisted him through advice, and a lot of people who participated in the podcast. For example, the number of ghost ladies that he had, and the way he has recruited people, and the way the others have betrayed him, and the way others have been with him since day one. I mean, the longest serving member of the podcast other than MacG is the current ghost lady. Saul has been there for so long now. We've seen some of the people he has interviewed being given a chance to host. DJ Fresh as host he came to host, and then after that he launched this podcast, which is very big now. It grew very rapid. So we saw Mo Flavor coming to host. Recently we even saw DJ's Boo hosting. So MacG is always trying new ideas in the podcast, and the way he's doing it, I mean, even if he can clinch a deal, maybe international or somewhere, the podcast will still work, because now he's introducing us to new people to host the show, and the shows still get attention, even if it's him. So I think it's very interesting. There are a lot of celebrities who do not like Podcast&Chill, and there are a lot of celebrities who like it, but they are not scared. They are very scared to go to Podcast&Chill and be interviewed. And in the industry, MacG knows a lot of people, and he has, in his podcast, different episodes, shared information which was not known to the public, to show that he lives with these people, and he has lived with these people. You will know MacG in his TV days. You will know MacG as someone who has been in radio, who have done radio for so long. I think the only thing that he knows is radio. Like Julius Malimba, the only thing that he knows is politics. So MacG grew up in radio, grew up in the media industry. He knows and understands. That is why I think it has been very easy for him to give the podcast a chance to grow. Because if it was someone who has never formed part of something big, which was once small, it would have been difficult. I mean, a lot of us have started today because of Podcast&Chill. It inspires me. I'm inspired by MacG. I'm inspired by his team. I'm inspired by Penuel, his team. I'm inspired by the Hustlers Corner of DJ's Boo, Kululeko. So these are some of the guys that I look up to. And coming to realize that he didn't blow on his first episode. Actually, the episode that made him blow was when he interviewed DJ Zintle, and he had interviewed other celebrities who gave him a chance as early as it was. They didn't check whether he had 100,000 subscribers or things like that. They just gave him a chance. They understood him. They understood his vision. And then they gave it a chance. And we'll see a lot of them coming back for new episodes now that it is big. We've seen people like Pop-Pops coming back. We've seen people like Oskido. We've seen DJ's Boo coming back. We've seen Sizwe Dlomo coming back. And these are the people who have been there in the beginning. So Podcast and Chill as a network, it has grown, and he has tested a lot of ideas. He has given, there was City Girls, there was whatever, there was the Cars Show. He tried a lot of things, and he's still giving people a chance. I mean, there's Popcorn and Cheese, there's that sport show, there's Dineo Ranaka recently. So he's trying to fill in the gaps, and in doing so, he's giving a lot of people a chance to be podcasters, to come and host in that platform. I think in no time it's going to be giving us episodes every day. And then from there, they will be giving us episodes, maybe 2 or 3 a day. So it's going to be fully functional. I think that is his dream, to make it work like a television station where we'll have different programs daily. You know that, okay, in the morning, there's this episode that is going to play, which is about this. And then during the day, there's that. And then at night, there's that on one day. Because it is only on weekend that they are not putting up episodes. But on Monday, they have something now. Tuesday, Wednesday, there's something. Even Thursday. So all those days of the week, even on Friday, because the sports guys comes twice. So it has grown. It has grown. And I congratulate him and his team. And MacG is very down to earth. I mean, I think this is something that as young entrepreneurs in South Africa, we should learn. Myself as an emerging podcaster, I believe that one day this will be monetized, and I should learn from that to say, even if you have followers, money, you still have to be humble. MacG, the way he dress, the way he speak to people, the way he associates, you can see that he didn't change. But to show that there is money, you will see the way they travel. He take his team with him, never leave them behind. They go everywhere together. The guys taking videos, documenting everything. But you can see, okay, they're going to Dubai. How much is it? We check the logistics. You see that there's money here. So, but he doesn't leave them behind. It is only when, for example, he's going to DJ, then he maybe goes with Saul or alone or things like that. Like when we saw More Flavor hosting the episode, that episode. MacG was in America with Potira and some other artists. So you realize that there's a reason to leave the team behind for work to be done, so that they put up episodes every Monday and every Thursday. And we've saw him shifting from the celebrities of the industry and then giving politicians a chance. And even politicians didn't find it difficult to use that space of podcasting. And it has been easy for podcasts like Hustler's Corner, The Penuel Show, to also host leaders or politicians, religious leaders and politicians. We have seen Joshua Maponga, doing the rounds on these big podcasts in South Africa. We have seen Rutendo Matinyarare doing rounds in this podcast. We have seen a person like John Steenhuisen being interviewed by these guys. So even politicians are tapping into the idea of podcasts, because it is some sort of alternative to media, where media is regulated. There are some words that you cannot say. There are some things that you cannot say. There are some gestures you cannot make. But in podcast, it's very difficult. And MacG has covered all angles: politicians, artists, emerging artists. We have seen him giving emerging artists a chance, to perform in his platform. We have seen him collaborating with other piano cats, and he did not hide their names. And he said it clear that I'm putting my name on these songs, but here are the guys who produced these songs. So I think it's a fair game that he's playing, and he's trying to explore, other markets, and he's trying to show those of us who are emerging that there's a lot that you can do with a YouTube channel. You can't always speak alone or to your subscribers, but in building that, there's business in this thing. We have seen a person like David Mashabela coming into the podcast when they were shooting in the past week, and then he reminded MacG that, you remember there was some money which came, and I advised you not to take this money because you'll be captured. So these are some of the things, and MacG doesn't play his cards close to his chest. It's an open game. He is very transparent. He puts everything, on the eyes of the people. Whenever there's money, there was a time where I think there was some 90,000 rand which he received while he was with his team, and he told them that, guys, there's this money that's just that I just received. What do we do with it? And then they shared it however they wanted it. So that is transparency right there, and he's showing us that you can attract sponsorship, you can attract advertisers, for as long as you are consistent, for as long as you put up episodes, for as long as you have content and great content. All these monetary values or stuff will come later. And he is an employer. The podcast is an employer. They have a bigger team. And sometimes when he's happy, he will say, Saul, you are the highest paid, what. Google is the highest paid podcast producer. Things like that. So he's very open, he's very transparent. And I have personally learned a lot. And I'm still learning a lot, because even if he has succeeded, even if his podcast is big, he did not run to his podcast to delete his first episodes. The first episodes are there, where sound was bad, where video was bad. Everything is still there to inspire a black child, so that you can see, so that we can learn from the steps that they took in changing the graphic designers, the videographers. We've seen the sound guys being changed, being fired. There was Aya, what was doing sound. He's no longer there, but the sound is still the best. So he's also teaching us how to move as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, the decisions that you have to take. And I am sure that when he fired Aya, I don't think he had an option immediate, but he challenged himself that Aya is not the only sound guy in South Africa. And if he is compromising Podcast&Chill, it means he's compromising the opportunities that have been given in the form of jobs to the whole team. So we cannot have one person compromising us on sound and still want to continue with this person. We need someone who is serious. Maybe even if the person is new in the game, we're going to give him a chance. We don't care how big we are. We can continue with this guy. So those are some of the business moves that he has made, and very clearly in our eyes, very transparent, and even speak about those, even give reasons why Aya was fired. So in the way the podcast has grown up, and even acknowledges the presence of Saul Phenduka, that as soon as they got Saul, their subscribers and viewers skyrocketed. He doesn't hide. He tells it straight that Saul came with the numbers. So MacG is someone who is very fair enough, unlike other uh, podcasters or YouTubers who will not tell you the difficulties or the benefits of owning a YouTube channel. Even if you try to ask, they will never tell you to start. They will tell you, no, your equipment is trash, your sound is bad, wait until you get sound. So when will people recognize your content and try to assist you if you are not starting? Because MacG will tell you that he started with an iPad, what. Before they used these bigger and beautiful studios, they were shooting in Len's house, in the Ghost Lady's house, the pool, what. So they tried all sorts of venues until they find the right one. And I believe that if something new come, they are still going to upgrade, because when you check the Popcorn and Cheese, they are using a different studio. They are not shooting at David Mashabel. They are using a different studio, but still working. People, there's a certain group of subscribers or YouTube viewers who find Popcorn and Cheese very interesting, and they don't mind if they are not. Why are they not shooting from David Mashabela Studios? So I think the way they've been exploring and the way they've been showing us how this is done is fair enough. And as David Mashabela has said, Podcast&Chill has broken a lot of boundaries, and it makes it easier for the smaller podcast to just grow. You can refer to that podcast and learn a lot, and it's easy to just grow and be where the podcast takes you and be where your content takes you. So there are podcasts which have longer conversations, like the David Mashabela podcast, the Penuel Show. They have longer, relaxed, more insightful conversations. And there are podcasts which are 1 hour, 30 minutes, your Hustler's Corner, Kululeko and Culture, Podcast&Chill. And there are podcasts which are 49 minutes, 20 minutes, and there's us in an hour, 20 minutes. But I think when we host, or when I host, that's where I'm going to speak for quite some time, because it will be an engagement, trying to understand maybe if it's a topic or the life of a certain leader. There is when I'm going to put on content of at least 1 hour, 2 hours. I would also love to be in that space. And in terms of equipment, we see DJ's Boo recently taking videos using his phone. You can hear the noise in the background. He just puts it there. So these guys are trying to teach us that, guys, you can do it with whatever you have. You don't need the biggest gear. The gear will come. You need to put work on. You need to be consistent so that you can gain more subscribers, views, and recognition by these bigger companies, so that they can sponsor you. Another thing that MacG spoke about is that cancel culture, which also consists of some celebrities, did not congratulate him. But it's something which he did not expect. We saw him introducing a new jingle there, an effect that spoke something to that sense. So it was trying to show us that not everyone's going to support you. And it doesn't mean that you must stop. You can grow without them. Because he said it's like a puzzle. It's like there's always a missing puzzle to this game. So even if someone doesn't support you, there are a bunch of others who are going to believe in your ideas and believe in you. So I've learned a lot, and I congratulate and I'm a chiller. I watch Podcast and Chill. So I congratulate them on their 1 million subscribers. All roads, I think, leads to Sunbed Arena on the 30th of July, where they will be celebrating this milestone. And I believe that from 1 million straight to 10 million, from 10 million straight to 100 million. So congratulations to MacG. And I thank him for not giving up the podcast, and let it grow, let it employ more people into the network, and let it pay young intellectuals who contribute to the network, high salaries. Let it be the first podcast in the world to employ many people and to pay them better than other corporate. So thanks for watching. This is Authentic Info Podcast. I'm a host at Master. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.